Looks like we've got a couple of other guys there, but no photo for them.
Yeah. That's probably a good thing with Matthew.
So where are you, Wes? Are you in Queensland at the moment?
Dubbo.
Dubbo, okay.
Yeah, just so we've been travelling for the last 5 months. So we went from the Gold Coast to Cairns to Sydney, Sydney to Canberra, Canberra to Melbourne, and now we're going back through the inside.
Okay, fantastic. And are you having meetings throughout at each place?
Yeah, like I think we've done maybe 40 events. Yeah, it's been great. It's been really great.
Yeah, fantastic. If I'm intruding, asking questions, like if others are needing to, oh, there's someone coming on now.
Okay. Hi, Brian. It's Matthew.
Hi, Matthew. Nice to hear your voice.
Yes. We'll just give everybody a couple of minutes before we start. Okay.
Sure.
So.
Looks like I'm not the only one in a car. So that's good.
I'm in Malaysia right now.
All right.
Because we are attending a wedding tomorrow. There's weddings tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Where in Malaysia are you, Matthew?
I'm in KL.
KL, okay. Hope the wedding goes well.
One in the morning, one in the evening. Okay. Just give it 1 more minute and then we will start.
Okay, bye.
Can I suggest everybody turn off their mic until such time there's question time? Okay, I think we will start now. Thank you everyone for joining us. There will be a few more. I think we had about almost 50 participants were registered, so that's good. Well, thank you for joining us, for helping us with this webinar. I really appreciate that. So what I want to do is first and foremost, why is not my screen not sharing?
I can see your screen.
Yeah, but I'm trying to move to the next screen. Interesting. Okay, I hope this works. Okay, once again, welcome to our first webinar, Marketing in 2017. And I want to especially thank Wes for being with us today to share his knowledge and expertise. And before we get Wes to share a quick intro about this webinar and what and why we are doing this, especially for those who are not members yet, so that they will have an understanding of what we're doing at KBN. I think the first thing I would like to say is a statement made recently by John Maxwell. He said, growth is the only guarantee tomorrow is going to get better. And in business, effective marketing is the key. So again, as I said, one of the key things for business is marketing. Without marketing, things are not going to happen. You're going to spend a lot of money and you're not going to get the results that you want. So I think the statement by John Maxwell is very, very appropriate. That, we have to keep growing, and that's the only way that you're going to get better. Okay. Now, what does that mean by effective? What's the purpose of this webinar? Number one is we want to really make sure that you in the kingdom, as kingdom entrepreneurs, kingdom business, understand how to be effective in your marketing. Marketing is a key for business growth. It's a difference between addition and multiplication in a business. In kingdom business, there should be no additions, only multiplications. What do I mean by that? Typically, the circular business world, they're talking about a growth of 5-10-15% a year seems acceptable. But in the kingdom business, God wants us to achieve multiplication. So that's important. And in biblical, sowing is marketing, reaping is sales. In the parable of sowing, Jesus talks about sowing into good soil to achieve 50, 60, 100-fold. So we need to understand how to want to achieve this. And of course, key is listening to the word of God and listening to the Holy Spirit, right? Also, God gives knowledge and wisdom to someone like Wes, who is able to take that and explain it in the way that we need to understand. And of course, we need to achieve multiplication. So you must have multiple strategies in place to ensure constant flow of orders, how you will get it right. And I'm expecting Wes over the next 2 months when he's sharing with us to be able to give some explanation how we can establish multiple strategies, so that constantly trying some strategies, and if one doesn't work, you jump on to another one and make sure that you're constantly getting orders so that the business prospers. So these are only a few points that I'm raising. As we continue this series, we'll discover more and more. Okay. Now, what is important, of course, is wants us to always be teachable. So we cannot be standing still and just doing the same old things over and over again. So as we said in Jeremiah 40, you can see verses here from Jeremiah 43, that the Lord may show us the way in which we should walk, the things we should do. Proverbs 9:9, Jesus, give instruction to the wise man, and he will be wiser. Teach the just man, increasing in learning. And in Proverbs 18:15, the God says, the heart of the prudent requires knowledge. So the bottom line is there is a jungle out there. So how do you ensure you win your fair share of your clients? You need to be aware of what's happening around you, to hear from the master, right? And change is inevitable. For those who refuse to change will be left behind. Sometimes rigidity and force of habits causes one to keep doing that doesn't work. So the bottom line is you will struggle and be frustrated unless you make sense, unless you make it intentional to be teachable and spend time learning and applying. Okay. Now, a little bit about KBN. KBN, of course, we are here to equip you to do what God calls you to in the marketplace. You can ambassador for Christ and excel or prosper in your assignment, which can be in a business or in a workplace. God has placed a different passion and purpose in our lives, and we can also call these assignments, which we know very well about. But to make this happen, we must maintain peak performance. And the real challenges, and most fail to do so, and therefore do not see real success, because the biggest challenge is making sure that you're constantly performing at peak performance, and that's not an easy task. And this is where KBN comes in. KBN's purpose is really to help our members to stay inspired, encouraged, and maintain motivation at all times on the race as God intended. At all times, we are calling as an ambassador and for Christ and in your business and vocation as well. Okay, our passion in KBN is to bring unity in the body of Christ, in the marketplace, to impact communities and nations while we prosper. We achieve this providing online resources such as webinars like what we do today in marketing, in entrepreneurship, family, marriages, and leadership. We also conduct seminars every fortnight, every 2 months, and offer networking opportunities at local level. For example, in Melbourne alone, we have now 7 chapters running. So we meet once a month. We have one in Bendigo, one in Sydney. Our target is to set up 300 branches, 300 chapters in Australia. And as we go overseas, we do more. And our cost is really not that expensive. We charge you $10 a month or $6. And we really encourage you to be a member as well. Okay. Now, KBN's vision is, we have a very ambitious vision. Our vision is to reach every country on this earth. There are 196 countries on earth, and the target is by 2020 to have members in every nation. And that is, it's a big plan. We have just committed that to the Lord, and this, we have planted a mustard seed about 12 months ago. Today we have close to about 100 members. I believe as we continue to press on with the right strategies and trusting God and being led by Him, we will be able to achieve this. And can you just imagine if you have members in every nation, and you can have thousands and thousands of members, for KBN to sustain is a very small amount that we require. 95% of the revenue, our plan is to plow back into the ministry to impact communities and kingdoms and nations. Just like I remember when Wes was sharing with us a month ago in one of the restored church, an example of 10 years time, if all our kingdom business have prospered so much, we can go to the local councils and ask them to give us the projects, where they're doing support. And we can actually do that as kingdom business through our finances that God has blessed us. And at the same time, that will have a major impact on communities. And this is one of the things that is also in the heart of KBN as well. So we encourage you to join us, support us, so that as we grow, we each of us contributing $10. It's not a lot, but when we come together in unity and we have thousands of members, the resources that we have, we can really make an impact in communities and nations. So this is the purpose of KBN. Encourage you guys to come on board and support us as well. Okay. Now, before we start the seminar itself, a few basic rules. Please put your mic on mute, and the questions to be kept till after Wes finishes his sharing, and a recording of this webinar will be available to members, member resource at any time as well. So now, Wes, before I ask him to share, my first I'm very deeply grateful to Wes for agreeing to do this series of webinars on marketing. Wes is no stranger in Australia. Wes has dedicated 10 years of his life to running a business coaching practice, training entrepreneurs how to build highly profitable businesses. Wes training Christian entrepreneurs to fund the kingdom with a focus on both spiritual aspects of God's word as well as the practical strategies that work in today's economy. And like KBN's focus is also to raise an army of Christian entrepreneurs who are actively businesses and funding the kingdom. And with that, welcome, Wes, over to you.
Thanks, Matthew. I appreciate that. Do you want my screen or do you want me
just to share? You can share your screen. You can bring it.
So, do I just go to...
Just share screen, yeah. You go to new share.
Okay. Oh, yeah, my green share screen. Okay. So you need to not share by the looks of it. Yeah.
Yes, I'll pause my share. That's it. Yeah. Coming on?
No. It says that I can't do it while somebody else is.
Okay, I'll stop share and then you come on board now. You can do that.
All right. So tell me if
you can see the share screen, right?
Is that now coming up on yours as a shared screen?
Not on mine. But can others see it as well? Yeah, it's coming on board. Yeah. I think we can see. You got the phone on, right? The ring phone.
Well, rather than hold everybody up, I'll just go. But yeah. I've got up on my screen, I've got a megaphone and a magnet. I don't know whether you can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. We saw that, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll just give you like a very quick 1 minute on me because, I'm only going to go for like 25 minutes and then we're going to do some Q&A. So just a very brief bit about my story. I've always been a business guy. I wasn't great at school, so business was my preferred option. And since school, I've built and sold 8 companies spanning franchising, licensing, software, distribution, trades, and things like that, and tried my hand at anything from gardening business to window cleaning businesses to telco in the technical space. And the largest business I ever started was a business in 2009. Was a software company that created systems manuals for businesses via video rather than paper. And I took that business into 5 countries around the world and sold it in 2011, which gave me the time and the capital to be able to go and do what I love, which is training Christian entrepreneurs. And, that started pretty well. we've been going, like in terms of training Christian entrepreneurs, this is the 4th year that we've done that. And, we started with 28 people in a room in 2012, and each year it's grown. It's got a bit out of hand. 28 became 96, which became 197, which became 340, which last year was, 990 people for 2 days. And then, and this year we'll probably have 2,000 people together, training them around the country, fully funded by us. You can't buy a ticket. We want to roll our sleeves up and train Christian business people. And the whole motivation for me is we have an economy that's not God's best. He gave us a picture of the economy he wants. We don't have it. And I believe business is probably the greatest tool to be able to win back the culture and to make earth look more like heaven. And so that's my motivation. And, ultimately we need 10,000 Christian entrepreneurs building a business, using their funds to, be of benefit to society in some way, whatever the Lord puts on their heart. And the combined collective influence of having that will mean that we'll be invited into every debate, every policy shaping, everything in terms of we will actually get to be the Christian voice that we haven't had for a long time. So that's ultimately what we're building. We've got about a 5-year window to get the job done, and it's a whole lot of fun. And the groundswell has already started. We're already starting to see us taking ground, but it's still very early days. We still need years on years on years to compound this to be able to do it. So all of that said, that's the 30,000 foot reason why I do what I do. I'm currently living in a caravan, and in fact, I'm in our big tow vehicle right now. And so in August, my wife and I felt the Lord say it's time to take our message full time on the road. And so we had a 7-week-old baby. The Lord's given me 3 beautiful girls. I had a 7-week-old baby, and we literally took off on the 1st of September. Had a caravan made, and got out of our house, got out of our office and put tenants in there, and literally just went on the road and offered to come and speak, fully funded. No offerings, no honorariums, no products, just come and speak. And it was huge. We set off on the 1st of September. We drove all the way from the Gold Coast to Cairns. We turned around and we drove all the way down the eastern seaboard and all the way, through Queensland and New South Wales and Sydney and Canberra and Melbourne, and now we're on our way back through. And today I'm in Dubbo, and it's a balmy 42 degrees out here in Dubbo today, which is lovely. And so all that to say that, we're just living on the road for the sole purpose of raising up lots and lots of Christian entrepreneurs, because we know the power of them. But all of that is in vain if we don't know how to market. There's a direct correlation between, changing culture or giving or funding your church or, all of those great things that we want to do as believers. There's a direct correlation between that and your ability to go and get a customer. And if you can't go and get a customer, you can't, get the money to grow the business, and then you can't make the money. And if you can't make it, you can't give it away. So there's a direct correlation. Like, you want to know where the rubber hits the road in terms of changing culture? The rubber hits the road in our ability to get a customer. And that's why marketing is so important. There's other areas we need to look at, but marketing is like the front end of the funnel to create great. So, but it's changed a lot. We've got a big echo going on here. I can hear myself twice. But marketing has changed an awful lot over the last few years. And too many people today are marketing their business like it's 2014 or worse, 2005 or worse, 1996. And they're not using the tools that are available today to build their business in 2017. And the change is significant, and it's the most amazing opportunity. Like, I've just come through Bendigo and Ballarat in Victoria, where they had a gold rush in 1850s and onwards. We're living in the same thing today, except we don't have to live in such adverse conditions. We're living in a gold rush because it's never been easier and it's never been cheaper to go and get clients for business. As long as you understand the changes that have taken place and the process to get them. So if we go back 50 years and then even further, the way that you got customers to your business was you herald a message. You blast your message out to everybody that will listen. We call it the megaphone. You know, you yell your message as loud as you can, as often as you can, to everybody that will listen, hoping that a percentage of those people are your audience and they might buy from you. And, you know, if you go back far enough, all you had was broadcast media, paper, television, radio. Well, that's all changed. We're living in a whole different world now with the digital space, with the likes of social. It's never been easier and it's never been cheaper to grow a business than it is in 2017. And so if you're sitting there and that's not your experience of it being easier and cheaper now than ever before, it's likely because you're not using the tools available in 2017. The beauty of what we've got today is that the businesses that will win, right, in 2017, 18, 19, 20, the businesses that are going to win and stand out from everybody else are the businesses that get very, very good at storytelling. We're in the age of the storyteller. We've got to go, okay, well, why are you doing what you're doing? Forget products and services. You know, the market know what they are: an accountant, a lawyer, a cleaner. The market know what they are. They want to know why you. And when you can distill down why you and what makes you unique in your story, you can then deploy that story across all channels on social, and you become an authority in your space. And that's the magnet, because the businesses that are going to win in 17, 18, 19, 20 are the ones that deploy a huge amount of good quality content out to their audiences through multiple channels. And what happens is, by putting out good quality content, you cast a big net and your clients find you. And that's the magnet. So before, we had to go and beat everybody over the head hoping that we found the right kind of person. 2017, you just push good quality content in every channel, coming back to your story, anchoring the reason why in everything that you put out, and your ideal clients will seek you out. And the best beautiful thing is, now you can, you know, when you spend money on marketing in 2017, because of the sophistication of the programs and the products that we've got, you have the ability to only spend money pushing your message to your ideal client. You don't have to waste any on anybody else. You have the luxury of only spending marketing dollars pushing your messages to your ideal audience. And that is a huge change, and you shouldn't take it lightly. And so when I talk about social, I guess I'm talking, you know, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. They're platforms that are hugely powerful. They're not the only way to grow business. There's plenty of other offline strategies that you should and could use. But from a digital perspective, the targeting in those is so good that you have the ability to only spend money on your ideal clients. And that, to me, is so cool, because it's cheap now. It's not always going to be cheap. The better they get at matching up searcher with product, the more they're going to charge. Just like Google AdWords started at 10 cents a click, and now it can be $10. As they got better at putting the two together, they can charge more. Everybody's going to be doing the same thing over the coming years. So you need to jump in now and get very proficient at these things. One of the other things to bear in mind, one of the reasons why, you know, a lot of people in business today are spinning their wheels, not going anywhere, is because marketing itself isn't taken seriously enough. I like to draw an analogy between an oak tree and the marketing department of your business. You know, an oak tree has a trunk and some leaves, and that's not the important bit. I mean, underground, it has a root system, and that root system of the tree serves two primary purposes. The first one is to build stability for the tree. So the roots go out in all different directions, build stability for the tree, so that when a storm comes, the tree is stable. The second primary purpose is to find nutrients for the tree. So, you know, the roots go out in all different directions. They find water, they find copper, they find tin. They bring all of that back to make the tree really, really strong. Take that over to business now. And, you know, if the marketing department is like an oak tree, too many people have a business or an oak tree that only has 2 or maybe 3 roots. The problem with an oak tree with 3 roots is that as soon as a storm comes, it falls over and it doesn't find enough nutrients to keep the tree strong. We've got to get to the point where the marketing department of our business has 10 strategies, 10 marketing strategies, bringing leads in every day, every week, every month. Because if you've got 3 strategies and 2 don't work this month, you've got no lead flow. If you've got no lead flow, you've got no sales. If you've got no sales, you've got no production. If you've got no production, you've got no cash flow. We've got to get to the point where there's 10 marketing strategies producing leads. Because that way, if 3 don't work this month, you've still got 7, and your business doesn't have the huge ups and downs that it might have if you don't do this. So here's the thing, right? Like, how many marketing strategies are there? As many as you can come up with. There's no limit to the different ways. You know, like as an organization, we've got about 15 that are applicable to nearly every business. You only need 10. You know, there's obviously some that lend themselves to nearly every bit. Google AdWords is an example. It's a great tool that's available for 95% of businesses, and it's instant traffic. You know, if you've got a website that's half pretty, you can run Google AdWords and you can have traffic in 1 hour to your website, phone calls in 2 hours. So, you know, that's a great thing. Facebook advertising, obviously a huge one in 2017, the preeminent advertising platform in the world, bar none. You know, these are the kind of things I mean. But you know, networking, strategic alliances, you know, what we call wow boxes and direct mail marketing, you know, whatever. There's a whole swag of strategies. Your job, though, is to be building your suite. Too many people have got 3 strategies. They drop one, they do another one. They drop one, they do another one. They never build that width and depth into their marketing department. What you need to do if you want to build a great business that is, you know, scalable and saleable and strong so that you don't get ulcers, is you've got to get to the point where you're adding one and probably one a month. You know, look at how many businesses that you have today. Look at how many strategies you have today. You know, and you need to be kind of honest with yourself. You know, if you've got 4 strategies today that are working in your business, be very honest. Are they all working? Put a line through the ones that aren't, you know, and then you end up with the true number. Well, if it's 2, for example, then it's going to take us 8 months to build your business to the point where it's solid enough that it goes really, really well. And that's the process. And so I'm kind of giving you a bit of an overview. Maybe on the next webinar, we can go down to a little bit more brass tacks about how you get AdWords to work or how you get Facebook to work and some of that. I mean, there's a million YouTube videos on it all as well, which if you wanted a shortcut, you could just go watch those. Just make sure that any video you watch on YouTube is like within a month or 2 old, because it's always changing on the platform and you want to make sure you've got the latest content. But you know, if you add one a month and let's say you're starting with none today, well, you've got, you know, 10 months time, you're going to have a great business if you've got the discipline to stick to it. So that brings me to my next step, right? Which is, you know, some people go to me, cool, I'm so excited. I want to build my marketing, but I don't have a budget. And that one really riles me up, because it's the same people that say I don't have a budget that go on a cruise. Or it's the same people that say they don't have a budget who, you know, they manage to go out to dinner once a week. You know, they manage to, you know, buy, you know, some new clothes down David Jones, and yet they tell me that I have a budget, and it's just rubbish. In my experience, everybody has a budget. You know, it's never been cheaper to be able to get started with that stuff. So literally, you've got one of 2 choices. Stop spending money on crap you don't need is one area, right? So, you know, like literally, let's go to some detail. Facebook, for example, Facebook advertising, they've just come out and told us their pricing structure, and they call it CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, $6. It's $6 on Facebook for 1,000 people to potentially see your message, right? $6. Now, the reason why that's cool for me is because the people that tell me they don't have a budget or don't have much budget, every time now you go and buy yourself a large latte with extra sprinkles, I want my voice in the back of your head going, what do you want more? Do you want a coffee, or do you want 1,000 people to see your message? You know, I personally think it's like that. Okay, so stop spending money on stuff you don't need and start doubling down on your business. If you're living on beans and rice and you literally have no ability to cut back, then the second place you go to get a marketing budget is your garage. You know the amount of people you walk in their garage, and we did this with clients just to prove them wrong. Literally, you walk inside your garage, you look at all the stuff you haven't used for 90 days, you take a photo of it and you sell it on Gumtree for cash. And literally, you take photos of all the stuff in your garage you don't need or don't use, the bikes, the gurney, the weight machine, the whatever, all the stuff you don't use. You stick it on Gumtree. By that afternoon at 5 o'clock, there's a line of people outside your garage giving you cash. You've now got marketing money to throw back in your business and start to do that marketing to get more customers. That's the level of serious play. There's no excuses anymore. All excuses are off the table because it's so cheap, and then so let me use some numbers just to have a bit of fun. Let's say you managed to raise $500 and you had it in cash, and you decided to spend $250 on Facebook and $250 on Google AdWords. Google AdWords is going to work and you're going to get some money in. When you get your money in from Google AdWords, you don't go coffee again. You redeploy all of that money back into marketing so that you get more customers, which pay you more money. And then you take that money and you redeploy it back into Google AdWords, which means you get more clicks, which means you get more customers. and you just keep building that funnel. And there's really no excuse. Too many entrepreneurs in 2017 are too fancy. They're too la-di-da. They're too, I need to look like I've got it all together on my Instagram feed. What you need is customers. Once you've got customers, you can grow a great business. And then you can be la-di-da as much as you like. But don't be fancy. Beans and rice, folks. Beans and rice, is the answer. So, I know, Matthew, you wanted to wrap it up by 45 minutes. So I think I might go straight to some Q&A. You can ask me anything you like. You cannot make me cranky. I'm here to serve you. And we might spend 10 minutes just answering some of your questions, guys, if that's what you want to do. And it'll be a real pleasure to do that.
Anyone's got any questions, please jump in.
They might be on mute, so they might have to unmute themselves first.
Yeah. Hello? Anyone want to ask questions?
Hi, Wes. I'm going to ask a question. This is Ismail. Can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, I can hear you.
Great, thanks. I suppose one of the questions is it important? Is it important to be clear about your niche before whilst you're unfolding your business?
It's a very good question, man. Yes. So here's my theory on niche. You should pick a niche. Yeah. The reason why we pick a niche, for those of you, just to bring everybody up to speed in case you're not, the reason why we pick a niche is so that you can actually talk and market in the language of that niche. If your marketing is to everybody, everybody's nobody. So by picking a niche, you can talk in the language and the pain points of that niche, and then you obviously you're gonna build much greater rapport talking in their language. Okay. My concern with the teaching of niche is that if you only have one, you leave too much money on the table.
Sorry, if you only have one?
If you only have one, you leave too much money on the table. So yes, you should pick a niche and double down and market to them, but then you should pick another niche and double down and market to those. Because there's no limit to the amount of niches you're allowed to have. But if you only pick one, it's normally so thin that you won't build a great business out of it, okay? It's better to pick a niche, double down, get really good at talking to them, and then once that's working, pick another niche and do it again. That's how you build a great business with lots of cash flow and lots of products and services.
Right. Brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Anyone else?
Wes, can I ask you another question? In terms of marketing strategies, so I've really appreciated your presentation. Excellent. You mentioned you could think of 10 strategies for producing leads, etc. You mentioned Facebook networking, strategic alliances, direct mail outs. You mentioned a bunch of others like YouTube, etc. Can you just mention a few other specific marketing strategies that you would say to someone that is starting out in the business?
So I missed the last part of the line. Down a minute. Maybe just bring yourself back.
Someone else is
Hello?
Sounds like somebody needs to be loud. There we go. All right. So I think your question was, can I tell you a couple more, right? Which I'll happily do. So in no particular order, you know, if you can learn how to do cold calling, there's nothing you cannot have in life, right? Most people hate it and they think it's so old school, but if you can literally, if you have the power to get on the phone, ring somebody you do not know and say, hi, I'm just making a brief introduction. You'll never get hurt by that. You know, the worst thing is someone swears at you, which is not the end of the world. You might actually sell something as well. Like if you can just get used to cold calling, like the world is your oyster because it's so controllable by you that you can do as many of those as you want, right? And of course, you've got to have a script and you've got to think it through, and you've got to be the anti-cold caller where you don't pressure people. You know, I'll spare you the details because that'll take a long time. But literally, when you do cold calling, you've got to give them actually an out in the first 5 seconds to 10 seconds. You've actually got to give them a chance to say no thanks. There's no point in spending 3 minutes with somebody who doesn't want to buy anything. So you should be doing that. Another one that you should be doing is what we call wow boxes, or it's basically direct mail, but instead of doing 10,000, you do 10, literally 10 to people that can give you repeat business. And you literally just get a box, put a gimmick inside with a tagline, and you post those out and you follow up with a phone call. And it's just a way of getting attention from people, which is a really cool idea. I think, you know, I'm trying to pick the ones that are going to be probably the most generic overall. You know, driving traffic to a website, but your website's got to convert. Too many websites are brochures. They're a bit like, we're amazing. No one cares yet that you're amazing because there's no context about who you are. You know, you want to get people to a website they can engage with, videos, images, text, you know, and that's how you storytell. You need to start storytelling on the homepage of your website with a big video of you, you know, just saying why you're doing what you're doing. And then on the website, you've got to have rabbit holes. You've got to drive your people down a rabbit hole to take action, not just like a big brochure of we're amazing. And, you know, I think you should probably get that right first because all of your social is going to point back to your website. So, you know, the website needs to be cool and interactive and that sort of thing.
Wes, there's a question from Base Cost about the doing multiple businesses, right? The question here is on building. Is it wise to build multiple niches under the same brand? Would it start confusing people down the track?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it does require a bit more context to be able to answer that. You know, I would need to know how far removed the brands are from the major brand. I think one of the things to bear in mind is brand is overrated anyway. You know, a good sexy logo is excellent, but it's not the deal breaker on whether business can work or not. The name of a business is not a deal breaker, you know. So I don't think that matters. So I don't really know the context of the actual question, which I would need to know to answer it emphatically. But I would say that I think too many people overthink this stuff. Just get out there and try it. If you launch you know, a niche under a company, and then you find out that it's going well, but it would be better if it was siphoned out, you just siphon it out and start it in a new company later. I would just start and just see what happens. I'd let the market give me the feedback, and then I would react to that, and I would do whatever needed to be done.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Can I just ask another question? Just going back to niches.
Yeah.
What would be the best way to start a niche? If you've got one already that you know and you've been working and you just want to go to that completely, and maybe you've got some raw resources and tools, how does one then create a new niche? Or what
I mean, if it were me, I would just go with the lowest hanging fruit, and I'd go with the one that I know the best. That's all. I would just go with the one that I am the most sympathetic with, so that I can talk in that language the most. You could go with that one, or you could go with the one that's going to give you the most money. And either of those strategies are good. I think the easier money is to go with the one that you already have the most knowledge of, or the one that you would find easiest to start with. I think business is less about, hitting it out of the park and more about momentum. So if you just went with the one that you already knew, then you would build momentum quicker and faster and probably do a better job.
Yeah. The reason I asked that, I just wondered, even if the marketplace was overcrowded.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if you're unique enough, it's not. If you're unique enough and your value proposition is high enough, then they won't think you're a competitor of anybody else because you're unique.
Great. Good call.
Wes, can you hear me?
Very brief. I can hear you a little bit.
Hi, Wes. Yes, this is Kwan here. Just back to cold calling. We're in an investment industry, and I've inherited a lead database of about 10,000 plus investors.
Mm-hmm.
Can you recommend? I need to outsource the cold calling part of it. Can you recommend anyone, or do you know anyone that I can outsource the cold calling of that to?
Yeah, a couple of things spring to mind. Definitely don't go offshore, because I just think you're talking about something so high level with investment that it just cheapens the brand hugely. I wouldn't outsource it. I would employ in-house people that are gifted with telemarketing. And I say that because there's more accountability when they're in-house and you can watch it a lot closely. See, the thing about cold calling is, you do 50, you learn. You tweak it, you do 50 more, you learn. You tweak it, you do 50 more, you learn. And that's the process to get a good result. You're never going to ring 50 up front and kill it. You've got to listen to what people are saying, get the feedback, see what is and isn't resonating. You're better off to do that. Like, I would just, it's going to cost you the same money to bring it in-house as to outsource it. So I would just employ people and sit them at a desk and do it in-house.
Cheaper, actually, I would say.
Yeah, I would say it's cheaper because obviously an outsourced company is going to put a margin on top of their staff. So, yeah, I agree. And mine's not really the financial cost; it's more the control.
Okay.
I've got a question from another person. What's your favorite strategy and most hated strategy?
What was the second part?
What is your favorite strategy and what's the one that you hate most?
All right. The one that I hate most is networking. I teach it. I did it for 10 years. I went to BNI. I went to breakfast with people I didn't like, to eat food I didn't want. And it was very, very profitable. But I don't know. Maybe I've become a bit too fancy or something. I don't know. But I'm just not a huge fan of networking in that structured networking event style anymore, especially with digital. I can get to the people anyway without having to stand in a room and be awkward with them. My favorite strategy, so my favorite strategy, if I was talking about our clients general, probably Google AdWords because it's so fast. My favorite strategy for me as Business Greenhouse, Facebook. We absolutely crush it because I've spent, $50,000 on working out what works so that I can teach it to our clients, and I know it for me. So that's just a case of trial and error that we've doubled down so hard on Facebook that we literally have a recipe that works every single day of the week.
Good. Okay, guys, last two questions before we wrap it up.
So just to give you a timestamp, I'm supposed to start a keynote in 16 minutes, and I'm not there yet. So I'll happily answer a couple, but I'll be quick.
Okay, I've got one more question. Could you give a few tips on Facebook, please?
Yes. Now, I don't know whether we're talking Facebook content or Facebook ads, so I'll just go with a few tips. Start running ads and don't worry so much about content. Content is on-page brand building stuff. That's fine. You can do that as much as you like. Start running ads, okay? And spend, wouldn't it make sense that you spent an entire day in your diary in the back end of Facebook tweaking the interest section and working out the kind of interest that you can and can't follow? That would be a phenomenal use. Even if you did it for 2 hours, just sit there and research, the kind of pages your clients follow, the kind of people your clients follow, the kind of groups they're in, their locations. It's all available inside the back of Facebook, and it just takes time in the intersection to sit there and have a play around. Once you've done that, it's actually way more sophisticated than that. If you've got an email database, you can upload it into Facebook and do a lookalike audience. You can take your email database, upload it into Facebook. It'll give you a custom audience. It'll match together the people that have that email address that you've got with the people that have that email address on Facebook, and it'll put them in an audience for you. So you've never met them, like they're in here, but you've never marketed to them on Facebook. Facebook will find them. Then you can do a lookalike on that audience and say, profile those people. What have they all got in common? And give me the same amount again. And you've never met them and you've never done anything, and you can market to those people. Like, you know, you can get a thing called a Facebook pixel when you put that on your website. It's a paragraph of code that tracks everybody that goes to your website, and you can market to those people on Facebook that came to your site. These are the kind of levels of things that you really need to be doing. They're the ultimate tool. They're the ultimate tool. Just to give you an example, I always try every strategy because I want to be able to teach it. But we obviously we have a series of seminars coming up in March. They're free. They're around the country. They're called the Kingdom Business Summit. If anybody hasn't heard about it, then just simply go to kingdombusiness.com.au, kingdombusiness.com.au, and have a bit of a look around. Literally, we drove people from a Facebook ad to our website, and then we were able. You can set up some criteria about conversions and see who left Facebook from our ad, went to our registration page and didn't sign up. And then what I have is I have a remarketing video that goes to them the next day that says, literally, I just say to them on their phone, hey, we noticed you went to our page yesterday and didn't sign up. Wanted to give you one more chance. Like, this is Big Brother watching. We know all of the steps of what people do. And this is how sophisticated it's getting. And it's so much fun to play with because it's a gold rush.
Excellent. Last two questions for you, Fred. I know you need to wrap it up. One is, should you market yourself as a Christian firm?
Yes and no, depending on what you want to do. There's no hard and fast rule. Go with your gut feel. You know, there's a time to be covert. There's a time to be overt. If you feel like you are called to be the public Christian, go do it. If you don't worry about it. Your actions will speak louder than your Jesus fish on your business card.
Okay. Next, last question is, for a startup, which platform would be the best to start off first without costing too much?
Can you just say the first bit again for me?
For a startup, which platform would be the best to start off without costing too much?
Google AdWords.
Okay. All right. I think with that, I think we'll just close it for today, and then we'll have the next one next month. Best wanted to thank you again for the time, and bless you. And
great to hang out with you guys. So yeah. I appreciate it.
Take care.
I'm gonna run straight away because I've got to get across town. Yep. But thank you for the opportunity. Have a super weekend. Love you all.
Thanks, guys. God bless you all. And we will be finishing up the recording. We'll be putting the recording onto our website as well, so you can have a look at it. Thank you. God bless you all, guys.
Hi, Pastor Brian.
Oh, g'day, Alex.
You guys want to have another chat? Yeah, go ahead. I'm happy to host for another 5 minutes.
Nah, I'm just saying hi. I'm just being disruptive.
No worries, Alex. Yeah, good to see you, mate. So, are you still in Hong Kong?
No, I'm back.
Oh, you're back?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, you're going to...
I'll see you on Monday anyway.
Are we catching up Monday?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Sorry, Alex.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Matthew. I didn't mean to.
No worries.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. God bless you all.
See you all. See you, Matthew. God
Bye.
bless you. Bye.
Yeah. Cheers.